we're at the end of the rig. You could take this and work and it would be great, but it looks kind of awful. So let's just clean some things up. Make sure all the controls are in the right spot. So all those are good. That's where they should be. And the controls are all in the right area. Oh, this is not in the right area. We need to move that to a different one. And what are the, oh, those are the headlights. Yep, so all our controls are on the control. So we only see the controls. So it looks nice. Nice and clean, solid. For this rig, I'd like to put 2 different types of widgets. Let's make a new collection and name it widgets. In this collection, we're going to put our widgets so that they are not in the way, and we can store them all nice and clean. 2 widgets that I want to make are a double-sided arrow for all the things that slide back and forth, and a base widget for the root and the body. So I guess let's start with the root and body one. I would start with a circle and set it to 16 vertices. Grab 1/4 of it. Control I to invert, delete those edges. Add a mirror modifier. Turn on the Y as well. Turn on clipping. We scale that a little bit along the edge, that a little bit along the edge. Delete these outermost edges. If we grab those and we go to 3D cursor scaling, we can extrude, right click to put it back, and scale it out. We can just extrude this one along the X and extrude this one along the Y and rename it to widget underscore base.001. Now let's do the double-sided arrow. So I'm going to start with a plane, go into edit mode, delete only the faces, scale on the X, no, actually let's scale on the Y, that's better. Scale on the Y, Control R, so we're just like kind of subdividing all the edges. Yeah, we just want 1/4 of this. Control R on this one as well, fill up that edge. So now I want to delete everything that's not those 2. Control I to invert, X delete edges. Then I want to mirror on the X and the Y. We're going to actually delete these as well. Extrude, Shift Z, move it back. Extrude, Shift Z, turn on clipping. Extrude, Shift Z, and move it forwards, and you got yourself some arrows. Let's actually move that back just a little bit. Smaller arrows are better. And let's rename that to widget underscore arrows.001. Okay, so now we can hide those and start adding our widgets to our rig. To start, let's start with the base, well, the root, and go to the bone, viewport display, and set it to base. So that one looks a little small. So what we're going to do is take it and scale it up just a little bit, and then for the other one we're going to add base and again scale it up just a little bit, and that's done with those. For all the other ones, what you can do is just shift select them all, go to arrows, hold alt and click, and they're all there. So now they're all rotated the wrong way apparently. So what we're going to do is go back to our widget, and I can see, yeah, it's pointing in the wrong direction. We go into edit mode, select the whole thing, Control A, apply the modifier visual geometry to mesh, then RZ 90 degrees. Rotate it, got all those. So they look a little big, so what I'm going to do is take the mesh, go into edit mode, not waypaint mode, edit mode, scale it down, looking solid. Look at that, beautiful. And I want to select all these and go to bone groups, assign, new group, and I guess I like blue, I'm going to go with blue. And there we go. There's the entire rig. Now, one final thing that we can do, let me just hide these widgets real quick. One final thing we can do is make a bit of a control panel up on top. Instead of going to the root and messing with these, we can mess with them on the top. So yeah, let's get started with this thing. Cursor to the origin, go to edit mode. Let's go to a new little, what are they called, like pockets? Let's call them like layer pocket. No, they're just layers. What am I talking about? Those are layers. Go to a new layer, add in a bone, move it up, rotate it on the X by 90 degrees. Oh, not. We need to switch back to individual origins. Rotate along the X by 90 degrees. Control Alt S to scale it down. Let's rename this to panel underscore frame. I'm gonna go panel underscore frame, because that's what it's going to be. So that's going to be our frame that contains our little sliders, and then we're going to duplicate it up a little bit and duplicate it down a little bit. Let's name the top one to panel underscore distance, because that will be where our distance slider is, and rename the lower one to panel underscore toggle 001. Okay, so now we got those, and let's actually scale those two down so a little shorter, and parent them to the frame. Keep offset, and parent the frame to the root bone. Actually, no, we don't parent the frame to anything. We want it to be separate because you don't want to chase the controls along when the car disappears off into the distance. Yeah, keep that separate. Keep those just be a separate thing. Now we need to see in pose mode how this is going to look. Right now there's nothing there, so it's kind of gross, but let's make some widgets for it. So to start off, we need to add in the frame. What I typically do is I add in a plane, rotate on X by 90 degrees, scale it down, delete that face, go to median, and scale it on the X, scale it on the Z. Nope, scale it on the Y because it's moved. And then I shift D and scale it down to make the frame. Okay. And let's name that widget underscore frame.001. Now, when I select the frame, we get this. Let's apply the rotation, and look at that. We got ourselves a frame. Let's scale it up just a little bit so it's nice and big. There's no reason not to. We got our frame. Now we need to make the two slider holders. So for that, we can actually just make one slider holder. Just scale it a little bit for the other ones. Go into edit mode, rotate along the X by 90 degrees. Oh, not. Yep, rotate along the X. Scale down on the Z by a lot, make it nice and thin. Scale it up a little bit, so we're going to make it the size of the big one first. And then we're going to take that face, delete only that face. Then we're going to go take it and rename it to widget underscore holder dot 001. So with that, we can go to the bones. Actually, let's select them both, hold Alt and click holder. So we have two dials right now. So let's scale the upper one up on the X, so it's pretty big, and the other one lower, so it's smaller. Because this will be an on and off switch, and this one will be a big how far is it going switch. Finally, we need to add in our actual switch. Plane, rotate on the X by 90 degrees, Control A, apply rotation, edit mode, scale it way down because we want it to be a square anyway, so why don't we just make it square. And 3, exclude only faces. And rename it to widget underscore slider dot 001. And just like that, we got a slider widget as well. So if we just take these two and we duplicate them along the X, we are trying to line them up properly. So let's rename the one on the bottom to be panel underscore switch dot, no, not switcher, switch dot 001, and panel underscore distance switch dot 001. And set the custom object to be the slider for both of them. And actually you need to go down and deselect scale to bone length. We want to fix all these scale things so that it doesn't affect the way that this cube, well, the square looks. And then we leave pose mode, go back to that, to the actual widget, and scale it down a little bit until it looks perfectly fitting on the actual rig. And we can just take it and kind of slide along the X until it lines up. Like, we're just going to eyeball it until it's right at the last little bit, because all that really matters is that it looks good to us, right? We're the animators here. Okay, and just like that, they're in the right spot. Now we need to add some constraints. So it looks right, but it doesn't have the constraints yet. We need to make it so that we can only move it to the side. So let's look at the panel, and if we move it along the X, let's see how far it is when it's as far as we want it to go. A 1.9. Let's see how that would look. I'll take 1.9. 1.9 is good. It's Control-Shift-C and limit location. All of it local space, and that's on the X0 to 1.9. And just like that, we've got our slider. And then the bottom one will be at 0.48. Okay, so then we do Control-Shift-C, limit location, turn on all of them, local space, X 0.48. And just like that, it's locked in and ready to go. So now we need to parent that slider to its holder, parent the other slider to its holder, so that we can just go like this. It's super nice, super sweet. Look at that. Now the only thing left to do before you're totally done is to actually make this do something, right? So what you want to do is make this slider drive the values down here on the root bone. What you're going to do is take we move it, and that moves the X, so we copy that as a new driver, go to the root bone, and you can just paste it in. And so when we go to open drivers editor, make sure you select the right one, so distance, F curve, and so when it was at 1.9, I want it to be 100, right? I said 1.9, yep, perfect. And look at that, that's working wonderfully. Now we just got to do the same thing for the bottom one, and that goes to 0.48. So let's actually just copy this value so we don't have to remember it. So we copy it, and we're going to take it and actually also copy his new driver. Go back to the root bone, paste driver, edit, nope, open driver editor. Make sure you select the right one, so it'll be the toggle. Keyframe of the 0.48 should be 2, and that should do the trick. And so we can just slide it along just like that. Look at that, perfect. And with that, you are officially, as soon as you hide these in the widget container, you just grab them and put them in there. And with that, select them all, add them all to the bone group, and you are officially done. Congratulations, you've made your car. Have fun, go animate something awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.